ITA for telling my friend that she isn't traumatized from somebody else's proposal. I 20F have had 3 close friends in college, Grace 21F, Matt M 21, and Laura to 1F. Laura really likes using mental health terminology. She explores a lot of labels from those therapist influencers online. She was told that she has an anxiety disorder and depression, but that's the only diagnosis she's been given so far. Recently, she's been exploring autism and ADHD. Matt wanted to propose to Grace. They've been dating for a while. He's been planning the proposal for a couple of weeks, and while the proposal was very intimate between the two of them, I was very involved in scheduling the after-proposal event at a restaurant. The specifics of that are irrelevant to the story, but it was lovely and Grace and Matt seemed really happy. Laura told us that she didn't want to be involved in planning the proposal because it reminded her of her parents' divorce. She said that she might come to the post-engagement party. Well, come the day of the engagement, both Matt and I forget to check in on Laura. I don't think it's Matt's fault at all because he was occupied with far more important things. But I feel a bit guilty about not reminding her. She ended up not coming to the party. The next day, she starts posting online some dramatic, for lack of a better word, things about how it was traumatizing to see how little her friends cared about her, and that she be updating her followers on her trauma therapy journey. She posts that she's now in a really dark place and she thinks she has PTSD. For context, I'm pretty sensitive to mentions of trauma and PTSD because I was diagnosed with PTSD by a psychologist in my last year of high school after something that happened in my first. I felt a lot of guilt and shame around this because I spent a lot of time feeling that the thing that happened wasn't bad enough to count. I sometimes still get nightmares and flashbacks, but it's gotten better after therapy. I know that I have my own issues wrapped up regarding the word, and it bothers me a lot when people seem to throw the terms around without understanding their weight. But I also acknowledge that I can't stop the internet from doing its thing. I haven't told any of my college friends about this, so Laura doesn't know. At one point, she called me and started explaining how traumatized she is, and I finally snapped and said, "You're not traumatized. Stop being dramatic. You just got exactly what you asked for." Now I feel guilty because I feel like I was a little harsh. She's posting online without my name. At least that one friend that she thought she could rely on to support her is abusive and doesn't understand how being traumatized works. However, I feel like honestly, Laura's being very dramatic about an event that's not about her. I called my mom to see what her opinion is, and she told me that I could have reminded Laura about the party, and while my point is not necessarily wrong, I could have been more sensitive. So now I'm not sure how wrong I am. Why would anyone need to check in on her the day of someone else's proposal? She said she might come to the after party. It's on her to decide if she come. Up. This is a friend who is going to require far too much attention when it comes to the little things, making everyone miserable. Do not apologize, keep your distance, and re-examine what kind of friendship you want. NTA. I cannot stand people who throw around psychological terminology with actual meanings to describe just their normal feelings. This person is absolutely creating their own drama, and you want no part of it. NTA, your friend follows therapist influencers and then diagnoses herself. This is absolute nonsense and does not warrant a minute of your time or thoughts. She can post whatever she likes online. You would be better off ignoring her since, after a little while, everyone will forget what she posted anyway. There are so many individuals out there who are truly struggling every day with their mental health and are desperately trying to manage yet another day in a face of incredible difficulties. Was told about the party ahead of time, said she might show up, and went on not caring enough to ever follow up with anyone involved with it and just forgot. LOLNTA, she clearly didn't care enough to go. She told you she didn't want to be involved, but then was traumatized because she wasn't involved. It's gonna get a lot worse with this nap before it gets better. Time for some distance. She knew that the party was happening and she said she might come. You aren't her parent, why would she need reminding? She sounds exhausting. Laura sounds exhausting. It's not about her, but the narcissist just couldn't not be the center of attention for 5 minutes. NTA. AITA, and it seems since the pandemic, people have become experts in fields they have little or knowledge of. Add to that the fact that your friend likes to center herself in every situation. You can't really win. Did she know about the post-proposal party and when and where it would be held? She's an adult and responsible for getting herself to where she wants to be. I don't want this to sound harsh, but trauma and PTSD are overused and often used to escape responsibility. Your friend is looking for any excuse to use mental health to gain attention. NTA. She is 100 doing this for attention. Updating her followers on her trauma therapy journey. Does she realize that she is the personification of a stereotype? NTA. You're not on this earth to manage her emotions or to be responsible for caring for her mental health. You have your own shit to deal with, and not checking in on someone else's feelings about two totally separate people getting engaged is not your job. Is she allowed to have feelings? Of course. Is she allowed to make space for herself to manage her feelings? Absolutely. Does it mean she should lash out in public forums attacking her friends for not prioritizing her BC of an event that isn't about her? It's pretty immature and selfish. NTA, normally I'm fairly open to people's definitions of trauma, and she may have been damaged by her parents' divorce. But no one is traumatized by her friend getting a proposal and not being updated that day. This was never her moment, and she is trying to make it about her. She needs to grow up. OFFS, people break a nail and start throwing around terms like trauma, trigger, boundaries, etc. Not to discount anyone's experience, but you're right, she's full of. She's traumatized because no one reminded her to go to an event she said she would maybe attend. Grumpy millennial self is like, what is wrong with young PPL these days? You should have been a lot harsher. She's insufferable and an attention-seeking leech. NTA, she's not worth being a friend to BC. She isn't a friend. Laura is a spoiled drama queen who is desperate for attention. Ignore her. TBH, you're a better friend than she deserves. Psychologist here, but not a clinician. Someone direct Laura to histrionic personality disorder and see if she wants to self-diagnose herself. Sounds like Laura needs a real doctor if she thinks she has all these issues. I have some mental issues, and people who throw them around, especially from getting diagnosed from internet influences. Just get my goat. Get the help you need. It wasn't up to anyone to check up on her. NTA. NTA. My sister is like this. She is constantly co-opting terms to make herself seem like the victim in every situation. I have several formally diagnosed mental health disorders and have been in therapy for over a decade. Her mental health is always worse. She is always the victim. Whatever happens in my life is never as bad as hers. It's exhausting, and that is why I am LC with her. NTA, Laura is not traumatized. She's jealous. Nobody threw her a party for being so wonderful. So why should Matt and Grace get a party just because Grace can say yes? Laura is an attention seeker, pure and simple. NTA, why would you need to check on her? Everyone has a calendar on their phone for reminders. She just wanted to play the victim. NTA, it sounds like she thrives on this behavior and has made it her entire personality. It's how Laura has main character syndrome. None of you will ever be able to have an event in your lives without Laura making it about her and her various issues. She will guilt you to distract from her bullshit. Laura needs to be ignored, not placated. But there's some nuance here. Sounds like Laura needs to be a victim to gather attention. However, maybe it would help if you explained it to her that your lash out was due to you actually having it won't, judging solely by what you wrote here. It probably won't. Being forgotten by friends can be hurtful, but traumatic is really stretching the term. She doesn't have PTSD or ADHD. She is a narcissist. This kind of shit is why conservatives mock the discourse surrounding mental health. It sounds like she might be VTDTBH. All those things she's feeling and saying falls into the criteria. I would suggest to her to go see an actual therapist so they evaluate her. I'm a therapist and have been dealing with similar individuals a lot lately. They usually want a specific diagnosis, and when I can't give it to them because they don't meet the criteria, they lose their shit. I have also noticed that they tend to be very resistant to any suggestions regarding their behavior or interventions needed. NTA. It's how you could have gone harsher. NTA, Al is a classic drama queen. Also, Al is an adult. You don't need to remind her of events as if she were a child. Anguish to strongman people to submit to her, manipulate situations to her likings, guilt others if they object and use it as a weapon to label others as problematic and abusive if they go against her. She will come for y'all as heads sooner or later and will try to completely destroy carefully. NTA. It all just sounds pathetic and embarrassing. My God, we need a Carrington event here on Earth. All of you need to throw your phones in the garbage and stop collecting victim buttons as decorative identity pieces. Pow, your friend sounds exhausting. NTA, she's exhausting. She was told about the party, stated she wasn't sure if she'd go, but then expected everyone to remind her about the party. No. She needs to be accountable for her own feelings and actions. She uses therapy terms and fake diagnosis because she's obsessed with herself. If it wasn't this, she would have found another generally upsetting event to claim PTSD. I would distance yourself from this person. It's only a matter of time before she pulls everyone down. But she definitely needs therapy, just for different reasons. NTA, Laura sounds like the type of person who uses these terms to justify shitty or insufferable behavior. Why is it your job to remind a grown-ass woman about an event? I get an invite, I put it on the calendar. I go or don't go. The end. Eta, she's a drama queen sounds exhausting. Why do you hang out with people you do not respect? Don't be an odd to yourself. Surround yourself with people you respect. Thanks for watching.